excellent defenses, offenses, speed, punching power, both undefeated, both with belts. It would be a unification fight. It almost never happens. Right. Almost never. In a 50-50 fight.
Period. That is the fight everyone should want. That is the #1 desirable fight in all of combat sports. There is no other fight that anyone should want more.
They're meeting at a great time, and whoever wins this fight should be the supreme 154 pounder right now.
Is this a fight that you dare to say is a 50-50 fight?
Yeah, it gives a 50-50 fight. I give it more, it's 50-50 in a sense, but because of the experience, you can go 60-40, 60 with Boots, 40 with Xander, but it kind of is a 50-50 fight, yeah.
In a captivating segment that has sent shockwaves through the boxing community, Max Kellerman joined forces with Stephen A. Smith to unveil a prediction that defies conventional wisdom regarding the highly anticipated collision between Jaron Ennis and Xander Zayas. Kellerman, known for his analytical mind and willingness to go against the grain, firmly challenged the overwhelming sentiment that Ennis will have an easy path to victory. Instead, he made a compelling case that Zayas possesses the deadly combination of surgical precision, exceptional ring intelligence, and unshakable composure that could collectively produce one of the most stunning upsets in recent boxing memory. According
to say, Boots is this future superstar. He beat this guy and that guy and that guy. Meantime, when you actually make the fights, and it's like, oh, he's really going to fight that guy? Is he going to win? Where are you with this?
Where I am, Max, is that I want to give a lot of credit to Xander Zayas. You know, Xander Zayas, young guy, he wanted this fight, he called for the fight, and he made it happen quick after the Virgil Ortiz-Boots fight fell apart. So fair play to Xander. He has a lot of confidence in himself, even though he's going to be the underdog. And you're right, Boots hasn't proven anything yet. Not his fault, but he hasn't fought anyone. He looks special. Now we're going to find out.
to Kellerman, the young challenger has all the necessary tools to send the boxing world into a frenzy of disbelief, adding his voice to the growing chorus of support for the underdog, Stephen A. Smith made it abundantly clear that Xander Zayas is far more than just another opponent stepping into the ring with a heavily favored champion. Smith passionately argued that Zayas represents a truly special breed of talent, one that has flown dangerously under the radar for far too long.
Special, and we need to recognize that he deserves to be seen, and he deserves
that this young fighter deserves far greater recognition and attention than he has received thus far, and he warned that Zayas possesses the genuine capability to hand Boots Ennis a devastating defeat that would rewrite the entire landscape of the super welterweight division. Max Kellerman continued his analysis by focusing on the remarkable courage displayed by Xander Zayas in pursuing this particular matchup. He pointed out that Zayas did not simply accept this fight out of obligation or lack of alternatives. He actively sought out Jaron Ennis, fully aware of the monumental risks involved.
About Xander, you're right. You got to give him props. When you have a built-in fan base, in other words, it's not just that you're of a certain ethnic or national group, but you're undefeated. You've been groomed and promoted as maybe the future star that group's fan base will follow. You're risking a lot because you have a built-in economic engine behind you. And when you're a guy who can be put in a position to pick and choose, and you choose Boots, Gabe, what does that say?
Absolutely. This is a fight he definitely didn't have to take, man. You know, he's a two-division champion right now. And for him to choose the toughest guy on paper right now, I mean, skill-wise, Boots, it's crazy. You know, it's crazy. He could have went a different route, but he chose the best.
Kellerman stressed that Zayas is putting everything on the line, including his championship belt and his hard-earned reputation, by stepping into the ring against arguably the most dangerous and formidable opponent available in the entire division. This, Kellerman declared, is a high-stakes gamble that could define the trajectory of Zayas' entire career. For better or worse, the legendary Roy Jones Jr., a man who knows a thing or two about elite-level boxing, offered his expert assessment of Xander Zayas, and his analysis was nothing short of glowing.
Zayas is a very good fighter, a complete fighter, a fighter who I think presents next to the most, he's probably the second most difficult guy to fight in the weight class because he's rangy. He can do so many things. He can fight inside, he can fight outside. He's a great body puncher. He's a very, very respected guy, and I think he's very mature for his age. Boots, on the other hand, is looking for that coming out party type fight. So he got to fight somebody at this point. And because he couldn't get A, he went to B. And I liked it about Boots because Boots saying, I want all the smoke. If this one won't take me, I'll go find the next one. And so, since he couldn't make the fight with Ortiz, he made the fight with Xander. This is what you want to see. This is a barn burner, I think. May the best man win, but both of these guys are capable of becoming the biggest threat to Fundora in the weight class, because right now, Fundora is still the king of the...
Jones described Zayas as a complete and remarkably versatile fighter who brings a multifaceted attack that keeps opponents constantly guessing. He specifically highlighted Zayas' rangy frame, which allows him to control distance effectively, as well as his rare ability to box with equal proficiency both on the inside and at long range. Jones also praised Zayas' devastating body punching, noting that his shots to the midsection are sharp, accurate, and accumulate damage over time.
I really wanted to see Boots tested by another fighter beforehand. I wanted to see him fight Virgil Ortiz first, because those...
At 54.
Yes, because those two guys were kind of on a collision course. However, I think Golden Boy and Virgil Ortiz had some issues, so now Boots went to the next best thing, which is even better than Virgil Ortiz. He went to Xander.
Perhaps most impressively, Jones pointed to Zayas' maturity, which far exceeds his years, and labeled him as one of the most well-rounded and difficult puzzle pieces in the entire division. Roy Jones Jr. continued his analysis by addressing the elephant in the room, the widespread desire among fans for a Jaron Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz showdown. While acknowledging that this is the fight everyone has been clamoring for, Jones made a provocative statement that is sure to spark debate.
Xander is a very good consolation prize to get if we're not getting Virgil versus either of them. What are your thoughts on that fight?
Look, it's a great fight, and Boots getting those challenges out there. Xander deciding to fight Boots on a very dangerous, challenging fight for himself. You gotta respect, that decision. If the Virgil fight didn't happen, and then Virgil versus Boots is not happening, and Xander stepping in, gotta respect that kid, for being 23 and taking those challenges. You gotta respect that, my pick, I would probably say, goes to Boots, because talent-wise. But, Xander's positive about himself, man. He sounds very confident. I talked to him and he's very confident.
That the Xander Zayas matchup, despite receiving less hype, could actually prove to be an even more compelling and fascinating contest than the Ortiz fight would have been. Jones argued that the stylistic dynamics and the unpredictable nature of this matchup create a level of intrigue that might surpass even the most highly anticipated bouts. Esteemed trainer Robert Garcia, a man who has guided numerous champions throughout his distinguished career, offered his perspective on the upcoming clash, and he had nothing but admiration for Xander Zayas.
So you were saying you watched the tape of Xander Zayas, right? And you kind of touched on that. He gets himself in certain spots where he doesn't throw punches. Go ahead and elaborate.
So when he's in the middle, so when he's on the center line, he might throw punches, but there's no power behind him. And if he's sitting on his right hand, same thing. He throws punches, quick shots, but those aren't the really dangerous shots. When he's trying to exchange and he wants to hurt you, you'll see his head go off center to the left over and over again. So he peaks, sort of like, I remember Salvador Sanchez used to hit you with those Jones, but then he'll peek over. So he'll peek over, throw a quick right hand, or he'll peek over, and if he freeze, or if he catches the right look that he's looking for, he's shooting a left hook or left hand to the body or left hand to the head almost every time. You know what I mean? And he throws with weight and with power. That's what he does to try to hurt his opponents, right? But that gets him caught because that's his rhythm. Every time he was there against Sparmer was hitting him with short right hands and was just timing his move. Like whenever he would peek over here, that short right hand was coming almost every time, and Sparmer was catching him right on the chin with those. And then when he's pulling back out of that, he's catching him with hooks. So he was short right hands, left hooks almost all day. It's just that Sparmer was a smaller guy, couldn't really hurt him, but he was hitting him. And that's what I pay attention to, is like, Boots is fast enough and athletic enough to still catch you in those positions, but it's not like you're fighting a smaller guy. Boots can hurt you if you get caught.
Cried Zayas as a talented and supremely confident young fighter who is fully aware of the magnitude of the challenge he has accepted. He emphasized that Zayas is stepping up to face an incredibly dangerous opponent in Jaron Ennis, and that decision alone speaks volumes about his character and ambition.
Tough fight, especially for Xander at this point in his career, but it shows his heart and his confidence, that he has in himself. and he's ready to go make history for his country, and he's going to do real well in that fight. You know, I just think, you know, right now, you know, it's a little bit too early for him.
Deep respect for Zayas' willingness to take such substantial risks at a young age, and he firmly believes that Zayas' unshakable confidence and positive mindset give him a legitimate opportunity to emerge victorious. However, not everyone is fully convinced that Zayas is ready for this level of competition, and several experts have identified what they believe are significant vulnerabilities in his game.
Feeling great, man. About to be a two-time weight division unified champ. Man, I'm snapping my legacy, man. It's only up. Man. I'm about to show the world I'm the best in the world. I'm gonna continue to keep showing the world I'm the best in the world. Like this boxing game mine, straight like that.
Now, the bout with Virgil.
They point out that Zayas displays certain predictable patterns in his approach, most notably a tendency to lean to his left when launching attacks. This habitual movement, they warn, leaves him dangerously exposed to short right hands and well-timed counterpunches, an area where Jaron Ennis excels with devastating effectiveness.
The questions that Boots was asking. So it was really one way.
Like I said, you know, both of the guys seem to be kind of, you know, I wouldn't say soft-spoken, but they seem respectful. You know, Boots, he always been kind of chill. I seen Xander being kind of chill. I could see, you know, Xander putting a chip on his back because everybody counting him out. You know, I could see him having a chip on his shoulder because everybody's counting him out. Everybody's just, you know, so high on Boots. So I could see that fueling him. But as far as, you know, Boots getting all tough with him, I don't understand that. I don't, you know, he's the golden child. I don't understand what he, you know, what he got to feel like he got to do. You know, I think his role is to just stay quiet and handle his business with his fist.
Furthermore, despite his solid movement and consistently high activity levels, Zayas lacks the kind of elite one-punch knockout power that often serves as a great equalizer in high-stakes fights. He has also been caught cleanly by opponents who possess far less punching power than Ennis, raising legitimate concerns about his durability. Terence Crawford, one of the sport's most respected and cerebral fighters, offered a cautionary perspective on the matter.
Xander's a good fighter. I like Xander. I just think that Xander don't know enough. Yeah. And take a fight like this. I mean, granted, you know, you get in this game, you in this game to be the best. But I don't think he's ready for a fight like this. I mean, Xander's good, he can fight, but he's still a kid, still a baby, still in learning stages right now.
Unified champion, right?
He is.
Big kid. Seems like he's getting better each and every fight.
And I agree, but Boots in careers, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, are they going to pay him enough? You know what I'm saying? Are they going to pay him enough? Because I'm sure after they fight, he's not going to fight for a while.
Crawford stated unequivocally that it is still too early in Zayas' development to be thrown into a fight of this magnitude and intensity. While he was quick to praise Zayas' undeniable talent and his admirable confidence in accepting this challenge, Crawford warned that experience is an absolutely essential ingredient at the elite level of boxing. He suggested that patience should be the guiding principle for Zayas' career, advising him to gain more seasoning before facing top-tier names like Jaron Ennis, where the margin for error is virtually non-existent. Jaron Ennis, never one to lack confidence, made his presence felt with a bold declaration ahead of the official announcement of the Zayas fight.
The reason why there's so much hype around Boots. He's an incredible athlete, he has a great jab, he can box, he's in good fights, he has power. But Xander Zayas at 23 is definitely an improving fighter. And like you said, Gabe, he's an economic engine, right? He could be fighting in Puerto Rico. He just sold out in January. He could fight in New York. He's going to probably have the bigger fan support here. And I think this is a great business move for Xander, too. He's going to get a career-high payday. And like you said, 190 he walks around at. He hasn't had much more time at 154.
Yeah, and also I'm thinking about is if you really watch Boots does look special all the time. But there's cases where he gets hit a lot. And you're like, man, for you to be so good and so special, why are you getting hit from some of these lower-class fighters? So Xander might have seen that. So you know what? Yeah, I know Boots is special. I know he's really, really good, etc. But I see things in this game where
Absolute certainty in his voice, Ennis proclaimed, "I'm the biggest name at 154, making it clear that he views himself as the premier attraction in the super welterweight division. He confidently asserted that he is on a mission to take over the division and that no other fighter brings the same level of excitement or talent to the ring. Ennis insisted that this fight against Zayas is merely the beginning of his prolonged dominance at super welterweight, signaling his intent to establish a lasting legacy, with the vast majority of observers and analysts picking Jaron Ennis to emerge victorious. The weight of expectation has become a significant factor in the lead-up to this fight.
Was going to have confidence he believes is the best 154 in the world. Xander Zayas, who even people on his own side wondered why he was pushing for this fight. Even his trainer needed an explanation from him before he signed off on him taking this fight. His promoter, who admitted on the dais that his plan for Xander was to put him in MSG, put him in Puerto Rico, do a nice title defense. This was all Xander Zayas, but Xander on that stage continues to look like, act like, sound like a guy that firmly believes that he is the better fighter in this matchup. What were your takeaways from watching Boots and Xander face-to-face for the first time?
It was a fun press conference because Boots was really confident. He was brimming with confidence, and normally you see Boots more, more chill, with a little bit more swagger. He's a little bit more, soft with his comebacks. But no, he was brimming with confidence, and him and Zayas were going back and forth, and I think Zayas handled it perfectly. For a 23-year-old champion who hasn't really been against the best, he's facing somebody that's potentially pound for pound one of the best, and Zayas handled it. He handled it with flying colors, man. And I think Boots better respect what he has in front of him. Even though the measurements stay the same, I saw a bigger, younger fighter motivated to do something great in Zayas.
Favoritism and the intense spotlight that accompanies it may have contributed to a heightened sense of confidence and perhaps even a touch of arrogance in Ennis's demeanor. As he prepares to face Xander Zayas, the question remains whether this surge in self-belief will serve as a motivational force or whether it could lead to complacency against a dangerous and determined opponent. Veteran trainer-coach Reggie delivered a stern and sobering message directly to Xander Zayas, one that cuts through the hype and optimism surrounding the young fighter.
Reggie acknowledged that Zayas is undeniably talented and possesses the raw tools to succeed at the highest level. However, he stressed that at just 23 years of age, Zayas remains too young and significantly underexperienced for the kind of elite-level wars that await him against a fighter of Ennis's caliber.
And if Boots is not careful and is a little bit too much overconfident, then this is the type of fight where he can be exposed. There was something both of them were going on, saying they both get hit. Yes, they do, but Boots gets hit being offensive. Zayas gets hit, being a little bit pulling his head back, rookie mistakes. And I think a fighter like Boots can capitalize on that, and Zayas better be on his P's and Q's. He better have that sharp technique, because he's dealing with a more confident, maybe overconfident, but more skilled and naturally gifted fighter in Boots, and that's the reason that the unified champion is the underdog in Zayas.
Yeah, I can't help but wonder what Zayas' game plan is going to be, because his team, I think, is going to want him to try to push Boots back. And you saw some of the things that Xander said. He said he felt that Boots has been a weight bully for most of his career. So that and some conversations that I had with people around him told me that they want to be a more offensive-oriented fighter. When guys come at Jaron Ennis, he is an excellent counterpuncher. He's excellent fighting, going backwards. He kind of eats up that style. Now, maybe Xander and his team can say he's never done that against a guy on my level. And that's probably true. I mean, look, Stanionis is a really good fighter. Boots carved him up. Lima, certainly not on Xander's level, but he came at Boots
with a bright future, but he cautioned that facing top-tier opposition like Ennis at this stage of his development could expose critical gaps in his timing and overall boxing education. Respected boxing journalist Mike Coppinger offered a unique perspective on the matchup, viewing it through the lens of business and career management.
Pandora, Keith Thurman, there's also the triangle that I like to call Virgil Ortiz, Xander, and Boots. Right now, it looks like Xander and Boots are going to fight. What are your thoughts on that fight?
It's going to be a good fight, man. The division looking good right now, and I just want to see all the fighters fight each other, man. The best need to fight the best. That's what's going to bring the fans to boxing. And, you can only be great by beating somebody great. You know what I'm saying? You can have a bunch of wins with no great win. You're just a good fighter, but you want to be great, you need to beat another great fighter. So they got the opportunity.
Believes that Zayas accepting this fight against Ennis is a smart business move, even though he enters the contest as a clear underdog. He argues that sharing the ring with a proven, high-profile name like Ennis significantly elevates Zayas' marketability and standing within the boxing ecosystem.
Even if the odds are stacked against him, Coppinger contends that the risk could yield substantial financial rewards and boost his reputation with fans, promoters, and television networks. By choosing to step up rather than take easier fights, Zayas demonstrates ambition and a willingness to test himself at the elite level, which could define his long-term career growth and visibility.
I'm thinking to myself, if this is what a phenom looks like, then what the hell is Boots Ennis?
Yeah.
And I was like, so that's where calling him the amazing Boots Ennis comes from. The dude is electricity waiting to shock you.
Yeah.
And he just hasn't had the opportunities to shock, right? So he's got Xander coming up here pretty soon. That fight's in June or May?
June 27th.
That fight's at the end of June. And I think that we will see an amazing Boots Ennis against a superb Xander Zayas. And I think the best man will win that fight. I don't think that that's a one-sided fight either way. If you're from Philly, you don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? If you're Puerto Rican, you don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? But it's a great matchup. But I just wanted to answer that real quick. I just from what I was exposed to over the weekend, and that just has been in my mind. So when I came to Boots, it was like, if you call in everybody else phenoms and stuff like that, then we just gonna have to call him the amazing Boots Ennis.
Jaron Ennis, known to fans as Boots, currently ranks among the very best fighters at 154 pounds, carrying with him a fearsome reputation as an elite and highly skilled competitor. Xander Zayas, on the other hand, surprised many observers, including some members of his own team, by aggressively pursuing this high-risk fight instead of taking a safer and more traditional title defense.
Boots match up with him. Boots matches up, he might be the best fighter. I think he's the most talented fighter at 154.
Is he ever going to fight any of these guys?
Yeah, I think so, absolutely. I think we're going to see him fight somebody this summer. We'll get to it a little bit later in the show.
Look, what do you think of, when I look at all those names, I see a bunch of good fighters. But when you say who could be special out of all those guys, my best prediction would be Boots. But you got to beat these guys. You can't just make us feel that way. You got to actually do it.
To me, the top guys in that division is Boots and Virgil.
Right. That's why everyone wants to see that fight.
You know what I mean? So, and Boots has got that. He got that swag, he got that speed, that power, good defense. He from Philly.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. I was waiting.
By the way, these two are not going to get any object.
If you're not a big boxing fan or a real professional boxer, you just watch all these guys fight, and you watch Boots, you're like, oh, wow. Yeah. The wow effect, he has that. So when you ask this question, it's not even no shadow of a doubt who's the most talented.
Between the two fighters, both men displayed noticeable confidence and engaged in sharp verbal exchanges that set a tense and electric tone. Zayas, at just 23 years old and still in the process of developing at the championship level, handled the pressure remarkably well and appeared composed throughout. However, Ennis's greater experience, superior ring maturity, and proven track record against high-level opponents stood out as key advantages going into the matchup. Both Jaron Ennis and Xander Zayas are viewed by analysts as having exploitable defensive vulnerabilities, though these flaws manifest in distinctly different ways. Ennis can be caught when he commits too heavily on offense, particularly when he opens up his defenses while attacking, creating clear windows for well-timed counters. Zayas, on the other hand, is still in the process of developing his defensive skills and can be caught due to occasional positioning lapses and rookie-level mistakes, especially against sharp and accurately timed punches. Because of these vulnerabilities, analysts believe Ennis holds the clear advantage in overall skill, natural ability, and experience against higher-tier opposition. This is precisely why Zayas is considered the underdog, despite holding unified champion status. In terms of strategy, Zayas is expected to apply relentless pressure and attempt to push Ennis backward. However, Ennis is highly effective as a counterpuncher and is comfortable fighting off the back foot, which could allow him to neutralize forward aggression and control the rhythm and pace of the entire fight. Hall of Fame legend Winky Wright, a man who faced and defeated some of the best fighters of his era, offered his profound perspective on the upcoming matchup. Wright stated that fighters only achieve true greatness by defeating great opponents, and he firmly believes that the clash between Xander Zayas and Jaron Ennis represents exactly that kind of defining elite test. He explained that both men are stepping into a moment that will shape their legacies, a contest where skill, discipline, and raw courage matter above all else. Wright emphasized that fights of this magnitude don't merely entertain the masses. They forge lasting legacies, forcing fighters to prove their worth against top-level opposition and earn genuine, undeniable greatness. Sean Porter, a former champion who knows the demands of elite competition intimately, shared his insightful thoughts on Jaron Ennis. Porter described Ennis as a true phenomenon in the sport of boxing, someone he considers to be pure electricity waiting to shock and overwhelm opponents. He stated that Ennis simply hasn't yet had the right opportunity to fully showcase his greatness to the world. Porter pointed directly to the fight with Xander Zayas as that long-awaited opportunity, highlighting their June 27 showdown as the perfect stage for Boots to finally shine. He expects both fighters to bring out the very best in each other, saying it won't be a one-sided affair and the better man on the night will walk away with his hand raised. Porter added that fans from both camps may not like hearing this, but the matchup is genuinely competitive from top to bottom. He believes Ennis possesses special, otherworldly talent, but Zayas' confidence, discipline, and refined skill set make this a serious and dangerous test for both fighters. Max Kellerman recently turned his analytical eye toward the junior middleweight division, offering a comprehensive breakdown of just how competitive and chaotic the current landscape has become. While he did not officially name a dominant #1 contender in a simple or definitive statement, his thorough analysis made it abundantly clear how closely matched the elite fighters in this weight class truly are. Kellerman noted that at 154 pounds, contenders are constantly shifting in the rankings, proving themselves through high-level matchups that produce unpredictable results. He has long emphasized that junior middleweight stands as one of the toughest divisions in all of boxing, where styles, timing, and experience often carry far more weight than hype or undefeated records. In his detailed breakdowns, Kellerman repeatedly stresses that fighters at this weight must consistently face elite opposition to earn true recognition, because a single standout victory is never enough to secure long-term supremacy in such a deep and dangerous division. As the countdown to June 27 continues, the boxing world finds itself divided on a crucial question: will Jaron Ennis' devastating power and explosive athleticism take over the fight and overwhelm Xander Zayas, or will Zayas' superior skill, ring maturity, and tactical discipline give him a genuine shot at pulling off one of the biggest upsets of the year? The answer remains tantalizingly uncertain, and fans from both sides are passionately defending their predictions. Drop your prediction in the comments below and join the debate.